Good evening. Sorry, I was just looking in the group there to check the question. I knew Claire asked a question earlier and I knew I was going to answer it. I was just trying to find it and I can see you all going, it's Julie going live. I know normally it's a wee bit earlier than this, but I was setting up some new lighting. That's what I was doing. Can't really show you because it's behind the laptop, but the normal, because I'm doing a lot of these at night, I have to have quite a bright light. And the one that I've got, the one that you can actually see at the moment, is quite harsh. So I've got this lovely lighting that I was able to get from that grant that I was telling you about. We've got the laptop as well. Anyway, the laptop hasn't arrived yet, but the lighting has arrived and I was trying to set it up. I thought it was going to be clever and have it set up before I do my 3 lives back to back here. Hi, Hazel. But it's taken me longer, so I've had to abandon it and go with the original light. So that's why I am a bit later than I thought I was going to be. So thank you for your patience. So the question that I want to answer tonight is Claire's. Now, I don't know. No, I don't think Claire is on. But let me just give her a minute. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Samantha. Hi, Lynn. Hi, Helen. Hi, Hazel. Okay. And yeah, sorry, if you haven't authorized StreamYard to see your name, I know sometimes it appears and sometimes it doesn't, but I just see you as Facebook user, so I can see somebody else that said hello, but apologies, I can't see what your name is. Okay. So this is Claire's question. I'm going to be focused tonight because I need to finish this by 6:30. So Claire says, and I think, and I'm addressing this because I think a lot of people feel like this at some point, and I really I really understand where you're coming from here, Claire, and I want to try and help you. So Claire says, I'm looking to start on Etsy. I've seen a few products like mine, but cheaper. It looks like they've used the same materials, etc., but they have free postage included. Yeah. I don't think they can be including all their costs like labor for that price, or are they simply covering their costs and not making any profit? I don't know whether to bother now or to try something else. So this is a message for anybody that has a craft-based side hustle and is looking to sell on Etsy. You will all see that. Like, you will all see that, because a lot of people sell on Etsy because they make something for themselves or for a friend, and a friend says, you should sell that. And they don't really have any idea how to start a business. So they go, well, it cost me this amount of money to have the materials, so I'll just sell it for that because I'm new and I don't have the expertise yet, so I can't charge very much for it. So I'll just sell it to cover the cost of the materials. But then they don't take into account all the materials. So if it's jewelry, so that's again my kind of niche, they probably don't think about. So they might cover the chain and the charm, but they probably don't think about the box and the envelope and the tissue paper and the jump rings and the polishing cloths that you need and the equipment, etc. So it's nobody that's nobody on Etsy is doing that intentionally. They just don't realize how you need to be a profitable business. So anybody that's selling something on Etsy where they're just not covering their costs, and you can see that, and I can see it clearly from some of the people that are in the same niche as me, they won't last, because they're losing money every time they're selling something. They're losing money. And remember, most people on Etsy aren't about the joy. Like, we're all about the joy, right? Most people on Etsy are just doing it because maybe it's something they're quite good at. They maybe had a go at making it for a friend, and a friend said, oh, you should sell those. So they're like, oh, well, that's what Etsy's for. I'll just try and sell on Etsy. I think you said, Claire, here that they have free postage included. I don't know if you meant to say they didn't have free postage included. I'm not sure. Maybe you did mean that. But I would suggest if somebody doesn't have free post on Etsy, they probably don't know what they're doing. So there's a good sign. If somebody has pretty poor photos on Etsy, they don't know what they're doing, because when you're selling something that's not in a physical shop, people are buying the image. That's the only thing they can see. They're not going to bother reading your delicious copy or whatever you've written about it unless the photo stops them scrolling, captures their attention in the first place. So if you're looking at someone that's selling something for cheap, I would say the hint will be that they have no idea what they're doing. The photo will be poor. They probably charge postage on top of their price, and they might charge exactly what the cost of the stamp is. And they don't consider the envelope and the box or the organza bag and the tissue paper, or maybe they're not even doing that. Maybe they're just dropping it in an envelope. And again, everybody starts somewhere. So I'm not being critical of people who do that, but I'm saying don't look at people like that on Etsy and go, well, there's no point in me doing it, because those people are not your competitors. Those people are going to be there and away again. They have, as soon as there's one slight hurdle, those people are going to stop. Like, for example, there were quite a lot of people in the hand stamped market on Etsy selling in the UK to the USA at the beginning, and to Europe on the 31st of December. Yeah, 31st of December. And when we came out of the EU, it started being a bit more complicated to sell to Europe. So there are additional forms. You need to get a code. You need to understand your customs code. You need to understand your category. That immediately flushes out all the people that have no idea what they're doing, because that's an obstacle. And you can learn that. Like, even that was a pain for me to try and work that out. But I did it because that's what I want to do. I want to sell globally on Etsy, because that's what Etsy is there for. You can sell successfully just in the UK, and it's quite a good place to start. Plenty of market in the UK. But my international sales now are much bigger, because people that don't know what they're doing and just hit an obstacle and freeze are not competing with me anymore. So those people that are selling things for pennies are not going to be there in the long term. They're not competing for the same customers as you. Do you remember, we're competing and we're targeting customers with money. Like, do not set up a side hustle and target people that have hardly any money and want things really, really cheap. Like, you're choosing your audience. So don't choose an audience that makes it difficult for yourself. So when I look at people that are using, and I'm sure you've probably heard me say this before, but a lot of the blanks that I use for stamping, there are only a certain number of suppliers that you can get blanks from. So there are a lot of suppliers that use exactly the same blanks as mine. Like, I know exactly where they've got them from, and I know exactly what they cost them. And I use the pricing formula that we've talked about before in the challenge. So I make sure that I've got a significant profit once I have covered my costs and my time, so that I can participate in Etsy sales, and I can give wholesale discounts and all of that, and give mates rates. But a lot of other people on Etsy who sell pretty much the same thing as me, and all they do is we would stamp it. We might have a slightly different font of hand stamps. That's probably the difference. They probably get their chain from the same place, because anybody who sells jewelry in the UK pretty much gets their chains from the same place. So, but it doesn't stop my stuff selling on Etsy. So I go, right, do I want to compete with that person at their level, or do I want to have an amazing photo? Do I want people to look at their photo, which is quite often on a bit of carpet or something, like a photo that you'd maybe see on eBay? You really have to keep, now I know it's difficult to take an amazing photo right at the start, but you have to keep evolving and improving your product photography. That is what's going to make a big, big difference to your sales. I would rather pay a photographer, or find a way to do some sort of product swap with a photographer, have an incredible photograph, and charge. I mean, there are instances on Etsy where I'm probably charging at least 5 times as much as other people selling a very similar product, and my things still sell. So I want to reassure you, Claire, and I don't want you to kind of immediately go, oh, there's no point. There are millions of sellers on Etsy. There are millions of buyers on Etsy, and Etsy will only show you. So if somebody searches something on Etsy, they don't show you all of your competitors, or they don't show whoever's looking to buy all of your competitors. They show a selection, and it's really dependent on what keywords you've used and how you've optimized the listing. So it's not that they're walking into a shop that's filled with all the exactly same things as you, and yours is more expensive than the rest. they're going to see a wide variety of things. They might not see anybody else in the whole of Etsy that makes the same thing as you. And it doesn't mean they're not there, but the odds are that the person that is selling something like for just about covering the supplies, if not even doing that, the odds are they have no idea what they're doing in terms of keywords on Etsy, in terms of the types of titles that they should be using on Etsy. So they're not your competition. Just be better. Just be better than them and keep your confidence. Hold your head high, because we've got the joy. We've got the joy going on. The product that you're putting out there is yours. It's your joy. It's the world needs it. The world needs that product. So when you come up, so your journey in business will always be, there'll be an obstacle. So it'll go swimmingly, then there's an obstacle, swimmingly, obstacle, swimmingly, obstacle. All we need to do is seek support to get over it, which is why I'm really glad you've asked the question, because a much easier thing for you to do, Claire, would have been to go, oh, I was going to do this, but I've had a look on Etsy and I don't think it's for me. So I'll just leave this group and I'll never do my side hustle again. And that would just be such a shame. So everybody, and I think everybody that's on here probably totally gets where you're coming from. That's what the Happy Side Hustle community is here for. So when you have a wobble, go into the community and go, oh, this has happened. Has anybody else come up against this? And remember, we're all here to bring the joy to each other. There's not going to be, no one's going to go, oh yeah, that came up for me as well, and I just gave up. Like we wouldn't even allow a big post like that in the community, because I want you to feel you can come into the community and be supported. So we're realistic and we talk about when we're having challenges, but what we don't do is empathize with each other and go, yeah, I feel like that as well. Oh, I feel like that as well. It's really terrible. I'm not going to, we wouldn't allow a big long thread like that, because that's not going to help you or help anybody. There will be challenges, but we're going to work out how to get past them. And then we're going to celebrate when we do. How does that feel? I know you're not even on, Claire. You can tell me #replay if you watch this later. Right, let me just see. I saw a comment. Right, Hazel. I was the same when I started painting and selling them. I sold them covering costs, and that's completely normal, Hazel. It's completely normal. I slowly got the confidence to put my prices up. When I sold them for £150, I was thrilled. My daughter who lives in London said, I'm still too cheap, but I am happy now and I make a profit I'm happy with. And I think that's right, Hazel. I think you have to practice saying your price in the mirror. So you have to be able to look at yourself in the mirror and go, my painting is £150. And if that sits well with you, then that becomes an easy sell. If you decided that, so say I said to you as your coach, Hazel, I think you should sell that for £1,500. I think you should immediately put it to £1,500. I can say that all I want. And maybe I believe that you could sell it for that. But if you couldn't in the mirror right now go, this costs if you would be like, oh, it's £1,500, people pick up on that. So they're not, so it's about that confidence. So you're doing it exactly right, Hazel. You're building the confidence and incrementally. So I suspect your daughter's right. I suspect you could be selling those for more, but you can put them out incrementally. And every time someone pays £150 for one, you go, wow. And when you get the testimonial back from them going, I can't believe this was only £150, it gives you the confidence to go, okay, well, the next one might be £195 and maybe the next one will be £245. So you have to, it's back to the kind of ladder thing that we were talking about last week. You know, you might as well have the kind of the close together rungs on the ladder instead of going from, you know, again, just, I know you're not asking me this question, Hazel, but just as an example, you know, if you were saying to me, I'm selling it for £150 at the moment, I want to jump up to £1,000. If that was a coaching conversation we were having, I think you probably could do that. But if that feels too big a rung in the ladder for you, then you're going to put a whole load of blocks in your own way. That is not going to work. But the next time you feel like, okay, this is feeling easy now, saying £150 is easy, I would suggest, and we will talk about this within the hive, that you jump it up by another £45 and see what happens. Because if I was buying a piece of art, I think there's something quite exciting about having an expensive piece of art over a piece of art that you feel is, you know, undervalued. So art in particular is one that, you know, you go, I've got a painting that cost 500. I don't, but I have a painting that costs £500 like that. There's something quite satisfying to the customer about paying a bit more for it as well. But we can talk about that another day. Where do you find out how to sell internationally? So do you mean on Etsy, Lynn? Because it's just a setting. So you just, when you go into shipping settings on Etsy, you set the UK and then you can set the rest of the world, or you can just pick specific countries that you want to sell to and you set the postage rates for that. Deborah, I was talking about this today and I was saying I can't compete with them. Yeah. So do you mean you can't compete with them as in the people that are selling for cheap, because you don't compete with them? You don't want to. And people don't want that. Like if you, so imagine, so say, I don't know what everybody here sells, but let's just go back to jewelry, because obviously that's my example. So I had a friend that was looking for a present for his mum, and it was his mum's, I think it was her 70th birthday, and he wanted to get her something significant. And he said to me, Julie, I'd love to get her a piece of jewelry. Now, this was a few years ago. I'd love to get her a piece of jewelry and I'd love you to make it because that would be really special. And I said, oh, that's brilliant, Scott. Here's the link to my website. Let me know what you like. And he came back and he said, this is a bit awkward, but you don't have anything expensive enough because it's my mum's 70th birthday and I don't want to buy her a £30 thing. I want to buy her something that's like £100 or, and I didn't have that in my range. So it's just so interesting because sometimes we're just going, well, that's what I would pay. Remember, you're not your own target customer. So having a range of prices is a really good way to do it. Okay, right, we're at 6:30, so I'm going to have to go. I'm going to have to cut this short quickly. And for those of you that are in Start Your Happy Side Hustle classroom, I am just about to go live in there and I will answer your questions. Thank you so much, everybody else, for coming along. If anybody does have any questions in the community and you would like me to do a live about it, because if you've got that question, probably somebody else has as well. And to be honest, when I sit down to think about what I'm going to talk about in the lives, sometimes I'm kind of racking my brain to think what would be useful. So it would be great if you could just put a post in the community and go, listen, I'm wondering about this. And that could give me a list of lives that I could do in the future. So if you want me to answer something for you, just pop a post in the Happy Side Hustle community. And I will be back here on Monday night with another Happy Hustle Live. And if you want, you can decide the theme of it. Okay, have a lovely evening, everybody. Take care. And for those of you in the classroom, I will see you in a minute. Bye.